Hello, all. I hope you're doing great. So today we are going to start with a new concept called serverless framework, right? So till date we learned about what is serverless, but today we are going to talk about the importance of serverless framework and how it's going to deploy our services in our own cloud provider. Okay, so let me start today's class. So yeah, so before moving towards what is serverless framework, we know like what is serverless, but we can talk much more about it today. Okay, and why serverless framework came into existence. Okay, and how companies are building their infrastructure using serverless framework. Okay, so in previous class we discussed about uh, why we moved our project into a serverless. Okay, because the main thing is the infrastructure. Okay, infra. Okay, we can call it as like infra or infrastructure. Okay, so here, the main complex thing is to maintain the infrastructure or to create an infrastructure or to destroy or to do some manipulation, everything, the maintenance of entire infrastructure. I mean, when you call infrastructure, I mean like there are like CPU, RAM, some hard disk, right? And network cards and other hardware related things, right? Only the hardware part I'm talking about. Mostly, we need to provision this hardware or provision this infrastructure, and you need to create one operating system on top of that entire infrastructure. Okay, then only we are able to run the apps on top of this operating system. So but we saw like the final motto is to run a single function or app. Okay, only we'll run the functions, that's it. To run only one single function. Okay, when we normally do it is when you trigger, right? Who triggers? It might be a user or a program or a system. Okay, when some user or system triggers, we call it as like an event or a trigger. Okay, event. Finally it calls a function. This function does some operation. Okay, it might be some data manipulation or some post operation or some get operation, or else some changes is happening on the backend side or on the server side, or it might call to some other external systems, but finally it's going to do some operation on top of data, as we discussed from first class. All right, so if you see here, to run single functions, you need to create this entire infrastructure and entire setup, right? So that's the reason we move towards a concept called serverless. Okay, concept called serverless, where it automatically creates entire infrastructure, it maintains for you. Okay, and the greatest part is it's like it's going to provision this infrastructure based on the request. Okay, it's going to scale up and down, or else it will be like it's horizontal scaling or vertical scaling. Okay, so there are like different concepts over here, but I don't want to confuse you on different terminology. But you can think like it's going to increase number of laptops. Okay, or else you can think like I will increase only the RAM or CPU. Okay, it depends on the which service it is, how they configured internally. Mostly, if you we discussed about Lambda, right? So Lambdas, how it internally works is it gets created like it creates like multiple laptops. Okay, we call it as like multiple instances. Okay, they AWS people normally maintain internally. This is like one of the good example you can think like for horizontal scaling, right? When you scale horizontally, it we normally increase the number of instances based on the request coming to the Lambda. Okay, it you can think like in the backend side they'll be maintaining a lot of traffic handling uh, based on different services. You don't have to bother about it, but I'm just giving an extra knowledge how they maintain internally. Okay, uh, but so if you see here, this infrastructure creation, okay, you are not creating, everything is handled by AWS people or the Lambda project, you can think like that. In the Lambda part, we just create the functions. So so you just create the functions, write some logic to do some operation or some task on data, or in the backend side you just give it to it and it maintains it. Okay, so it automatically reduced a lot of work for you. Okay, so that's the reason we move towards the serverless. So these are the different concepts we discussed earlier. Okay, so we were like moving towards serverless framework now. We discussed what is serverless, how it creates entire thing. Okay, now the thing is, if we even want much more automation. Okay, something like we in the previous class we went to the dashboard. Okay, we went to the dashboard and typed like Lambda, and we went to the service. Okay, Lambda service, and created a function, or else from here also we went, right? We went to functions, create a function, gave a function name, and we created a function. Okay, that's what we created in the previous class. But in this class, we are going to do a complete automation. Okay, so the thing is, uh, finally, you're going to create Lambda. AWS people will be creating the infrastructure. But how are we going to ask AWS that I want Lambda? That is the question. Okay. So here comes a concept called IaC. Okay. We call it as like infrastructure as code. Okay. As code. What it does it mean is we will be writing some code. Okay. And ask AWS to provision the or give me the resources or services. Okay. You will be asking specific service, they'll give all the resources you need. Okay, that's how we are going to do. So there are n number of tools, okay, which does this infrastructure as code. The most popularly we normally do is with the help of in the DevOps perspective. We use a lot of tools like Jenkins, and even we use Ansible, and write a lot of playbooks, and provision a lot of things, and like we configured it. But for provisioning we use Terraform, which is one of the tool. Okay, uh, and we provision a lot of resources. Okay, but once you talk about serverless, the good and best tool out there is serverless framework. Okay, and this serverless framework mostly focuses on the services which are serverless. Okay, there are few services in AWS provides. One is Lambda, one is SES, one is DynamoDB. A lot of services are there. You can just search for it. Like what are the different serverless uh, services in AWS, something like this. They just give a list of services which are serverless. Okay, this entire list of services you can provision with this serverless framework. So that's a great option, right? You don't have to do anything. Just one single click, your code is going to provision entire infrastructure, and your code will be deployed, and it will be running with or like based on the demand. So it's a great thing to have. A lot of work is reduced. So today we are going to discuss how to install it and how to create our own code, and they do give a lot of templates for us, and we can just configure accordingly based on our request. Okay, so let's create some thing, right? Okay, before creating, let's go and install. I already installed. Let me show you how to install quickly to you all guys. Let me have a documentation already for you guys. This is like a serverless official documentation. Okay, this is tool actually. This with this serverless, okay, framework, you can provision the infrastructure in a lot of different uh, cloud providers. Here we are discussing about AWS especially. Okay, so to install, you can just click take this command, copy paste this command in your terminal, something like this. It just says a warning like it's already installed, but you can just type this command. Okay, and just you can click serverless update. But before doing this, I suggest you to download AWS CLI, okay, which is one of the tool, something like this serverless, which is used to connect to AWS resources only. This serverless is used. This is a framework which we can provision the infrastructure in many uh, cloud providers. Okay, different cloud providers have serverless services. We can provide configure them. Okay, but this CLI is just for the AWS itself. Okay, they have developed it. This is official documentation. You can just click on get started and just check how to install it. Installing or updating the latest version CLI. You can just come here. If you are using Windows, click on it. You can just use this one, or else you can just go here and download this file. Yeah, it's downloaded. You can just enter this one. If not, you can just come out and click directly install AWS CLI, something like this, and go to this link, and you can just do it here. But I recommend doing that, so that it takes the configuration. This serverless framework takes the configurations of the existing AWS credentials. I can show you quickly. Okay, where exactly they are just keeping the credentials. Let me open my window. So this is a place. I think I'll just show you like this. If you go to C drive, I'm showing you in Windows. Okay, and if you go to users and open the user which you are currently logged in. Okay, and I recommend you have the right privileges. Similarly, last time we discussed in the AWS, right, instance, mostly you'll be having the privileges, but don't get confused. You just need to go to your user and open the folder called .aws. Here you will see two files. Okay, one is called config and another is credentials. You need to in future you'll be changing these two. I'll show you what changes we're going to do right now. Okay, uh, but just ignore it for now. Okay, you just need to have like AWS CLI installed. Okay, so that this folder will be created. If not, you can manually go and create a .aws folder like this here and create two files like config and credentials. That's it. Okay, the serverless will be automatically capturing the two files from that folder. Okay, so yeah, that's one thing. So we install serverless. Okay, I recommend to do this commands. Uh, Let me open this documentation. Okay, do serverless update. The first time when you do this, it goes and log in into the serverless dashboard, this one, which is serverless framework's official website, and it just logins into it. And then I think that's it. So once it's installed, it says like this. It's got installed like that, and you can just do like a serverless help, something like this. Okay, let me just zoom in. Okay, once you just do this, you should see something like this instead of any errors that like serverless is not installed like that, but it says like it's already installed. Even there is another command like SLS for short form for serverless. You can just do the same thing and it gives the same response. So you can see the same response. So yeah, before moving and using this tool, okay, I recommend to create a new user. Okay, let me just show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so what we're doing is, okay, in AWS, okay, let's assume we want to create a new Lambda. Okay, we want to create a Lambda in AWS. Let me just write it down. AWS, this is entire AWS infrastructure, and we are trying to create a Lambda, okay, which is a serverless program. Okay, so how we are going to ask? We are not going to log in with the console over here and go and create here, but instead we are going to use the serverless framework to provision this infrastructure. Okay, so where we are right now in our system, okay, this is personal laptop, and from here we are going to ask AWS to create what to create Lambda. Okay, how with which tool we are using? Serverless framework. Okay, so we are using this tool and writing some code. Okay, I'll tell you what is this code. This is infrastructure as code. Okay, and we are going to ask it. Okay, we always know that. Okay, there is some format. Okay, there is some protocol behind it, and there is some like set of instructions or rules to write a code, okay, and to ask to the AWS. And we also know that we definitely need IP address and uh, some user credentials. Okay, in terms of IP address, you don't have to bother anything. Once you have credentials, it has a default cloud provider like AWS provider, right? They internally maintain to hit to which server and other things. But once you provide the credentials, it just logins to your account, creates your services whatever you ask in the code. That's how we are going to configure. Okay, so this code is written, we'll normally write in YML file, okay, which is similar to JSON, where something like, let's assume I need a uh, service called Lambda. I'm just typing it randomly, but this is not the exact keys and this thing. But we definitely have a documentation. We can always refer the documentation. Go here. Let's assume you want to deploy a function. You can just refer this one, or else we can create a. Let me show. Go to get started, and this is like AWS credentials, usage, building, testing, and services. You can just go here. You can always refer to the keywords which they are using, because this is a specific keywords the serverless is using. So we definitely need to use these keywords to provision the resources on top of this one. Okay, so let's assume I need a service like Lambda. Okay, and I want to give a name to that Lambda, like sample uh, project. Okay, something like this. And what all different configurations we did here. You can always come here, just click create. You just gave the name and these all credentials, right? Runtime version, you can just give like a runtime version. Okay, if you want Node, you can just type Node. If you want Python, you can just type the Python version, which version you want to get installed before. Okay, the OS things you cannot change it. Okay, they maintain the optimized OS, you don't have to bother about it. Okay, they maintain it, but the runtime configuration, the code which you are going to deploy, you need that, right? The Python or any other programming language, whichever you want, you can just use it. And the architecture and any other extra configurations, you can just come here and write in a single file. Okay, let's assume this is like serverless.yml file. Okay, YML is something like the extension of it. You'll just create like this, and you just give to serverless framework. It will give this code to AWS. AWS will be creating this entire infrastructure. Okay, so I'll give one of the internal thing. Okay, what exactly serverless is doing. Serverless role here is to convert this YAML file into one name called CloudFormation. Okay, CloudFormation template. Okay, this CloudFormation, this CloudFormation template is something like there is a service called CloudFormation in AWS. We can write these templates and create same exact configurations or resources using AWS directly. Okay, once you just go here, click on CloudFormation, this tab, this service. Once you open, you can create a stack. Okay, and with new resource or existing resource, click like a new resource, something like this, and you can build a template. Okay, upload a template like this, and you can upload the file. Okay, but there is some other extra template details which is a part of this cloud formation, which is much complex. Okay, if you type like cloud formation template. Okay, and if you go to this one, it shows a lot of templates for us, application framework templates, sample templates. Click on it, click on this link. You can just come here, you can always check. Let's assume we are deploying Lambda, right? You can open it, there is a YAML file. You can come here, this is the entire template. You can just copy paste this same template and give it in the cloud formation. It will create that Lambda created for us. Okay, but if you see, this is a lot of code, right? So once you just create a same code in the serverless framework, you'll just get to know like how much less code will be there in the serverless. This entire code will be automatically generated by serverless, this template. Okay, that's the major role which is done by this framework. So I gave you like one of the internal concept, how they are maintaining the serverless framework people and how they are configuring it. Okay, they are mostly reducing the effort of the code which we are going to write. That's the main motto of this framework, and it's easy to learn. Okay, now let's get started and create a new project. Okay, so, and one more thing, okay, here the connection, right? For connecting, we need definitely some credentials, right? Username and password. So, for now, we logged in with the root user. Okay, we should create another user. Okay, that user creation I already said. When a human is trying to connect to some other system, we mostly use username and password. But if there is another system trying to connect to another system, we normally use roles. Okay, so now I'm going to create a users. I already created a user called admin, but you can just come here, create user. You can like create a name with serverless user. Okay, and you don't have to click on this. Okay, because in future, if you want to log in with this user, you can just click on it. But I'm not logging in. Just click next, and here comes the important thing, that is the permission. Try to attach the policies. Okay, the policy, mostly I don't want to uh, give entire permission for admin, but if you want, you can give. uh, if I want to just create Lambda, okay, I'll just give the Lambda respect to permissions like AWS Lambda full access. Okay, if you want like to give CloudWatch uh, related access, you can just come here and give something like how much access you want to give to this user. Okay, let's do one thing. I'll be creating a lot of uh, different services. Let me give full access to this user. Okay, there are like two different things. One is administrative access, or else you can just give the power user access. Okay, right now I'm going with administrative access. Okay, click next, and that's it. Just create user. That's it. So if you click on this, I think we need to create a access key from here. Okay, I just missed that option somewhere. Okay, but you can click here, saying that I want to create a new user. Okay, uh, and that user is going to connect from the command line. Okay, just click on it and just say that I understand and click next. If not, they're saying like to create from here, but you can just do from here. Okay, click next and give some like tag name, tag value like sample user or serverless user, and click access. That's it. So you can just take these keys. Okay, let me show you what we need to do. The next step, that is to open this folder, okay, and take these two access keys and secret keys and open this file. Uh, okay, I just opened it. Uh, so let's assume I have something like this. Okay, so you'll be having something like this, the default folder values. You can just copy these two values, access key over here and secret key over here. Okay, I'm just commenting out this thing. I don't want to show you those keys, and you should never share these two keys to anyone. Otherwise, the lot of services will be misused. Okay, let me close this and just click done, continue, and let me delete that user right away. Okay, but it and just confirm. Okay, it's a good way always to clear your resources whenever you just create it. Okay, so now the thing is, this is also a managing part. This entire managing part will can be done with the code as simple as possible. Okay, so I'll show you how to create and destroy as easy as it is. Yeah, so now we are having a user, we configure the credentials in our folder. Now there is no issue in connecting our serverless tool to the AWS. Okay, there is no issue in connecting this to this one. Okay, you should make sure to do that configuration. That's an easy thing. You can just Google it and search if you are having any doubts. Otherwise you can just ping me in the chat. I'll just try to make another video for you guys, and I just don't want to extend this configuration part much. I'm mostly focusing on the entire practical, how to uh, write IaC, this file creation, and the infrastructure provisioning part. Okay, so let me just do create it. Okay, the creation part is very easy. You can type like serverless, or else you can just type SLS. I'll be using SLS for now, from now on. Okay, just click enter. Okay, it asks for a couple of things. Okay, based on your programming language, you can select it. Okay, you can just click a down arrow to select whatever application you want to build. Okay, for now, let me just create a simple function. For now, I'm not creating any uh, big project, but I'll just create a simple function which is written in Python. Okay, just click enter. It will give you the template. Okay, pre-built template. Just click enter, and I think I'm in a different folder. Let me just abort it. Okay, let me create a. Let me open the different folder. Just give me a minute. Okay, so here is the command line. I just created online video code, something like this, but you can just name whatever folder you want. Just I created it, and here you can just type like SLS, type enter, and select this simple function for now. Okay, and type like simple code, something like this. We just give small case and simple code. Just click enter. It's trying to download the template. For the first time, it try to ask you for the login to the dashboard. Okay, I showed you right the serverless dashboard, and it has some couple of things, couple of questions to you. You can just enter it, but you can just log into the browser, and you can create the organization over here. But that's the easiest step. I'm just skipping it. But the next part will be the creating of app. This you can just skip this part. Okay, this is like in the dashboard, whatever I showed you, right, serverless dashboard, it will create over there so that you can monitor from there what a app is like, and you can just monitor the metrics of the app. Okay, but I'm just skipping for now, and it just created a simple folder. Okay, just do a cd and just go into that folder, and here you can do a dir or ls if you are using a uh, Linux system. Okay, and you can see it just created 4 files. Okay, let me just open it in the VS Code quickly, and you can see here it just created 3 files. One is serverless.yml, one is readme, you can just ignore it, and handle.py. We are focusing on this. Okay, so this is a simple serverless lambda function. It just created for us. Okay, you can see the code is just 3 to 4 lines. You can even ignore this one. This is mostly they are maintaining in their dashboard. But the service name is simple code. This is the name of this project, and the provider is AWS. Name AWS. It's very easy to read. Okay, the runtime version is this 3.12, which I showed you already, right? The something like a file will be created. I said right. The same file it just created for us in template, and it gave us. So the functions is nothing but it's going to create a function, lambda function, with a name hello, and the handler is something like this handler. Handler is handler.hello. So this is the hello is the function name. So what it did is it just creates a hello function. This is the function name in the Lambda function name and the handler which you want to run. Okay, you can just name these handler from file name and the function name whenever you want. Okay, but let's go with a simple one. Let's deploy it. Okay, I'll just show you how to deploy this file. Okay, you can just come to this folder, into this inside this folder. You can just type like SLS. Okay, I'll just give you these commands. Okay, whenever you want in the chat. But you can always Google it and learn what this command does. But thing is like SLS deploy is something like you just take this folder, okay, take this file, and this file, go and deploy in the Lambda. Okay, you can clearly see that there are no Lambda functions right now. Okay, if you go to functions, there are no Lambda functions in Virginia. Okay, I already configured in which region it is, but you can also configure it by default region, or else you can just change the region from here. Okay, uh, but just I'm showing it, it's going to deploy in the US East one. Okay, that is Virginia. You will be seeing a new Lambda function. I will not create from the UI. Okay, it automatically creates when you just click just a single button. So it's doing a lot of authentication part from our system to the system which is there in the AWS. So it's trying to, you can see it's creating a CloudFormation stack. I'll show you what's happening behind. If you go to CloudFormation, just click refresh. If you're in the same region, it shows you a stack is created. Okay, it's in the create in progress. Once you just click on it, it just goes into this one. You can click on events or resources. I like to go and look into the resources. It shows like what resource it's going to create. Okay, so it created the same IAM role, log group, and function. Okay, so we know that this function and needs some role. Okay, why they created this role, you can always go and click here, open it. You'll just get to know like it created a sample policy. You can open it, you can check. It just added the logs, create log, stream log, everything is related to logs. Okay, by default Lambda is connected to log, CloudWatch log, to always have a the to monitor the entire metrics. Okay, that's why it always prefers to configure the CloudWatch log to the Lambda. So that's why it needs some role to send some traffic or metrics to the CloudWatch. So they created the log group, which is a CloudWatch log, and some version they added, and this just created the function. Okay, so you can ignore this one, but you can focus on it. Just created the function. So it just completed, create complete. So if you come to the same VS Code, you can see it created the functions hello, and this is the uh, function name in the internally they made it. So now you can come here, come to Lambda, just refresh it. You'll just see the function just created. So so this is very easy one. Okay, you'll see that there is a different function name it by default gave, but we can always change it from somewhere like here. This is the one. You can come here and type name sample. That's it. Okay, just you need to do like SLS deploy. That's it. It will automatically go and modify the existing CloudFormation template. Okay, and update my name with the sample. If the keyword is wrong, it always throws an error. We can always go through the documentation and change it. But mostly it should work. I already know the keyword, so it should work. So you can come to these functions and CloudFormation template. It says like updating progress. Then once it is done, you can refresh it. It's updating this Lambda role. Update complete. So now you can just go to the function and refresh it. You can see there is a sample uh, code got created. Okay, so I think it's still creating it. Let it create. I think it's not. It's still in progress, right? So let it create, and you can come out of it and just do a refresh. So you clearly saw there is two functions got created. This is a good concept, but we can discuss it later. How it's happening, how it's creating two things. With it, it makes sure that there is a zero downtime in the user. So it's a good way to understand how it's working behind. So we learned today how to connect to the serverless to the AWS, and we created a sample code. Okay, this is just a serverless, but let's now build a project. Whatever we did yesterday, right? We created API gateway and connected to the Lambda. Okay, let's do the project. I already have the code. Okay, let me just pull it out quickly so that I'll just explain you guys what to do. This file, let me copy it and paste here. Okay, and there is a readme. Okay, I'll just uh, post it in my GitHub. You can always go through what is the process and all the things. And there is a handler code. Let me copy paste it. Okay, this is a simple project. Okay, what we are doing is, I'll just explain you. Okay, we are in our laptop, and this is like complete AWS. Okay, we are trying to connect to AWS, and we are trying to create API gateway, and we are trying to create a Lambda, and we are trying to hit to the SES. Okay, this is one of the projects we're going to do. We already did manually. Okay, but now on a single click, you are going to create this entire infrastructure, and the application will be running perfectly fine. Okay, so let me tell you how it happens is, once you just hit to it, okay, the API gateway will be configured and connected to this Lambda, and Lambda will be connected to SES, okay, and sends a email to us. Okay, this is the project we're going to do. And let me quickly open our project. So if you open here, there is a lot of things, right? So let me just minimize things, which will be much easier for you. Okay, so here you can see the existing code is same. The provider is AWS, runtime is Python, and region I set it here. Okay, I said right, we can set from the code. This is the region, and the environment. Why this environment is that these two variables I'll be using in my code. Okay, I think last time we added this environment manually, but from the code itself you can add here. It will create it, and it will store it in our, we can retrieve it in the code. And this policy, okay, uh, in the last project we saw right, the AWS CloudFormation template is trying to create this policy, but we can override the policy and say like, for this Lambda, try to use this IAM policy and give only access to log group and SES, because we are using SES, that's why I gave the access. Okay, and if you go to the functions, okay, this is just a small function, very small code, but it does a lot of things. Okay, this function creates one API, okay, one that is Lambda, and uh, inside this we can see like events and HTTP. This just single code will create entire API gateway and attach to this API, that is Lambda. Okay, and we gave the permissions, so SES can be attached and connected to it. Okay, so SES we already it's nothing but we just added the email we already did, so we are not going to touch it. We are going to mostly connect to SES to send an email, and the rest of the part is we are going to create a Lambda and the API gateway. So once you just run this, what it does is it's copy paste this code. The code is nothing, just it just connects to the email like SES and sends the email. That's it. I think we saw this code earlier. It just take the email subject and email. You can always change it. We mostly have a separate template to send the emails, but you can add it from here and you can send it to the SES. Okay, this is just to parse and response. That's it. So let me just deploy this code quickly, and you'll just see how it works. Okay, so it's calling the cloud formation. Always you can come to this page and check this page. This is the good page to check. So if you see, what happened is we didn't change the service name. Because of that, it's creating a new complete project. Okay, this is one of the bad way to do. Okay, it's always to good way to delete this resource, then only come and create a new resource name. Okay, so we can do it manually for now. Here we can delete it, but I'll show it how to do it programmatically. Okay, I'll delete this resource once it's done. Okay, we can test it. So it's done, create complete. So I'll just show you, it already creates a Lambda, you can see here, and it should create API gateway as well. So you can see here the email service gateway email is created. So you can see there is a post method, you can see, and the stages will be created to send the email. This one. Okay, you can use this and send it in the postman. Okay, something like this. I think in the last meeting we just saw, you can just type like this. Okay, till here, and you can just do a send. Okay, I'll just show it to you. That's it. It sent an email. You can always come and check it in your inbox, and it will be in the spam mostly. It will come. Yeah, it's here. So I'll show it how to call this Lambda if you don't have Postman. How can we invoke it? So the way we normally connect is something like this. I'll just show you how to invoke uh, call a Lambda function from locally. Okay, we have a command from SLS, we can do it. Okay, just don't bother a lot of things. You can think like SLS serverless invoke a function called send email. Okay, this function name should be this one. Okay, this send email is should be here. Okay, this is the name of the function, and this is for us to just see it in the front end. Okay, this is the handler. Okay, and if you see, this function needs some data or some event. Okay, here in the postman we sent this one, right? You can just all copy paste and copy paste here. Okay, but no, it even accepts my data as null and sends a default email to it. Okay, that's why I'm just keeping null for now. And you can add like subject to email subject and message over here. Okay, you can always refer this one, and you can type log. If not, it's optional. Okay, I'm just adding log because to check whether the this invocation has happened successfully or not, and check some other logs if we are having inside this one. You can add a print statement here, right? So something like that we can do, and check it. Okay, once you do this, the serverless goes to AWS, calls that Lambda and gets the response. And this is the CloudWatch log response. Okay, there are no logs in it, so it doesn't show it. It just says like start and report and end, something like that. But this is the main response which comes from the Lambda, saying like it's good, okay, and it has sent to the email, which is what we are returning in our code. That's the same code which is written. You can cross verify by going into our mailbox. You can see it works. So yeah, so I think we learned a lot of things today. I'll show you how to clean this one, which is very important. With a single command, we can just remove entire infrastructure whatever we created. Okay, that is SLS remove. That's it. Just enter it, but make sure while doing this that it clears entire infrastructure. So make use with a caution. Mostly, if you go into any company, they don't give a permission to remove it. But for your knowledge, I'm just showing you that it's always good to remove it so that you won't be charged. So that's the one of the key things you need to focus on. So if you go back, so it says like it's successful, right? So if you go back and just see and do a refresh, you'll just see that it's gone. And if you go to ABS, just redo a refresh, it's gone. So it's as quick as possible. You just created this entire architecture, this entire project today. I suggest you to do this hands-on project by yourself, and just learn it. Okay, and in futures we are going to learn how to connect, and just let's make this project much bigger. Okay, we'll be learning about the microservices and how useful it is, and this same project is built in many companies similarly. Okay, we'll be learning the use cases of it, and we'll build a bigger project in future classes. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.